Hey, what's up guys, Bastard here, and in this video I'm bringing you the top 5 games that we saw at E3 this year. You should know that I picked the games from this list based on my personal opinion, so you might not see some games that you expected. Starting off in the 5th place we have Horizon Zero Dawn. E3 gave us a good look of Horizon with the first gameplay that they demonstrated. Horizon Zero Dawn is an upcoming third-person RPG game in development by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony, and the game will be available in 2017. In Horizon, players take control of Aloy, a hunter and archer, as she progresses through a post-apocalyptic land ruled by mechanized creatures such as robotic dinosaurs. The game is set 1000 years in the future, in which humanity has long fled Earth because of the robots. The creatures' components such as electricity and the metal they are composed of are important to Aloy's survival, and she can loot creatures' corpses to find useful resources. The game's role-playing elements are said to be between that of Assassin's Creed and The Elder Scrolls v Skyrim. Players can use a variety of ways to kill enemies, such as setting traps like tripwires, shooting enemies with arrows, using explosives and melee combat. Silent takedowns are also available. Players can also use craft items by collecting materials and machine parts. The game features an open world that can be explored when players are not completing missions. A dynamic day-night cycle and weather system will also be featured, and the Guerrilla Games have stated that the game will not have loading screens. But basically, the game has really beautiful graphics and the world of the game looks very interesting with its robotic creatures and the story behind it. In the 4th place we have For Honor. For Honor is a hack-and-slash video game in development by Ubisoft. It was also announced at E3 last year, but this year at E3 2016 we got some more gameplay, and we know that the game will be released on February 14th of 2017 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. The game features a hand-to-hand combat system described as the art of battle by the developers, and allows players to play the roles of historical soldiers such as medieval knights, samurai and Vikings. Different classes have different abilities and weapons, and customization will also be available for players. For instance, you will be able to customize the gender of the characters and their armor. The game features competitive multiplayer modes that can support up to 8 players who will be split into 2 different teams. When one team earns enough points, they must eliminate all the players from the other team, and once all the players from a team are eliminated, the match ends. Now, when players kill a certain number of enemies, they can level up and gain additional perks. These perks allow players to gain additional points and strengths, calling a barrage of arrows or a catapult attack, or even heal themselves. The first mode revealed is called Dominion, a mode similar to Domination, in which players have to capture control points. Also, a single-player campaign will be included in the final game. In the 3rd place we have WatchDogs 2. WatchDogs 2 is an open-world action-adventure third-person shooter game also developed by Ubisoft. The game will be released on November 15th of 2016 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. The game is set in the city of San Francisco. It is played from a third-person perspective, and its world is navigated on foot or by vehicles. Players control Marcus Holloway, a hacker who works with the hacking group DedSec to take down the city's CTOs, an advanced surveillance system which connects everyone with everything. Marcus is a young intelligent hacker from Oakland. He was wrongly framed for a crime he did not commit when he was still a child by the upgraded CTO system which connects him with personal information to the crime. Realizing the system brings harm to the innocent citizens of San Francisco, he decides to work with the hacking group DedSec to take down the city's CTOs and Bloom, the creator of the CTO system. WatchDogs 2 is a game with stealth elements like the previous WatchDogs title. Players can also use different methods to approach the game's missions. Players can choose between the aggressive approach, in which they defeat enemies with firearms, or using Marcus' own melee weapon, which is a billiard ball attached to a bungee cord also called a thunderbolt, and the stealth approach, in which they can evade enemies or paralyze them temporarily with Marcus' taser. A really nice and beautiful game indeed, and I think it looks better than the previous WatchDogs title. The second game in the list is God of War. I think God of War is now one of the most anticipated games that we saw at E3 this year. The game is developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony, but we don't know yet the release date of the game. The game will be a soft reboot for the franchise and will take the series to the world of Norse mythology, while all the previous games were based on Greek mythology. The protagonist Kratos will return as the main character, and he now has a son and also a badass beard. Kratos acts as a mentor and protector to his son and has to master the rage that has driven him for many years now. The gameplay will be different from the previous installments. From the trailer shown at E3 this year, we know that the game will have elements similar to RPG games, such as crafting resources for the player to find, and now this new installment of God of War features a third-person over-the-shoulder free camera view. A major change is that Kratos no longer uses his double-chained blades. Instead, he now uses a battle axe, which can have different elemental abilities and thrown at enemies like we saw in the gameplay from E3, and I personally like this new axe Kratos has, and I think it looks really awesome. Also, you should know that there will be times in the game that you can control Kratos' son to help defeat different enemies. Now, for the first place we have Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is of course a first-person shooter game developed by DICE and published by EA, and this is the first game of the franchise which is taking us back to World War I. The game will be released on October 21st of this year for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. First of all, the campaign mode will have more open and larger environments than those in the previous games of the franchise, and the player will have more options on which path to take in order to complete different levels and how to approach combat. Now, the multiplayer, for which players are always more interested in, will allow players to make use of World War I weapons, including bolt-action rifles, automatic and semi-automatic rifles, artillery, flamethrowers, and a variety of different grenades, as well as a lot of melee weapons like sabers, trench clubs, and shovels. We can see that Battlefield 1 is now focusing on the melee combat because in World War I, soldiers also used to fight with this type of weapons. Players can also control different armored vehicles, including light and heavy tanks, armored trucks, biplane aircraft, and battleships, as well as ride horses into the battle. Now, in Battlefield 1, the environments will be even more destructible than the previous titles. Also, the multiplayer maps are based on different locations around the world, and the modes we know until now that will be available into the game are Conquest, Domination, and Operations. The graphics of the game are very beautiful and very realistic, and I think this is the game I'm most excited to play this year. So these are the top 5 games from E3 in my opinion, and if you agree or disagree with me, feel free to comment which games are you excited about and which games you think should be on the top 5 list. Thank you very much for watching, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you in the next one.